Hey everybody, this is just a mini tip video related to filtering data and how you can do that with our new condition action. So I want to show you that really quickly. So first what I've done is I've created an Excel spreadsheet and it matches one that's on our actual docs information. So I will put a link underneath the video to where you can get this same exact data list and kind of get other ideas of how to use it to learn more about expressions. But what I loved is that I learned something very important. When we're filtering data, and here's the thing, you should always try to filter data when you get the data. This will save you time later. It'll also improve performance of your flow. But not all data systems actually respect the same OData queries. So for instance, in the case of this one, we'll just zoom a little bit here. I want to filter to get every item from here that's completed. But I also want the unnecessary, right? Because these are the ones that basically we don't have to worry about. So I want to get a list of the ones we don't have to worry about. So I want completed and unnecessary. Now, if I use OData simply, I can say status equals completed. And if I test that, you'll see that we'll get back everything we need for status equaling completed. And the EQ stands for equal in OData language, right? And I'll put a link in the description to all the operators for OData. All right, so now if you look at this, we've got in our output, we've got 2 completed items, which actually matches beautifully to what our spreadsheet says, okay? Now, FYI, this spreadsheet that I have open is not the one I'm querying. It's a copy because I find it best to keep Excel files closed when you're working with them in Flow. Sometimes they get locked, but we're not actually editing anything. It would be okay, but I'm using the desktop version of the spreadsheet to show you what's in it. All right. Now, what I can't do, unfortunately, using Excel is I cannot type or and then status equals unnecessary. Okay. So this OData query will fail. And so if you notice, if I run this flow, the flow will fail. And that was completely expected. And if you scroll down, it'll say only single equal NE and contain start with etc. is currently supported. So what that means is you can only have one operator in an OData query to Excel. Okay. Now you would not have gotten that error if this was SharePoint data. Okay. So OData queries are directly in proportion to the data source as to what they will and won't support. So keep that in mind. And when you get those error messages, it'll usually tell you what's going on so that you can make a decision. Now, does this mean that we're completely out of luck here, that we can't actually query to get the completed and the unnecessary at the same time? No. Okay, it just means we can't do it in this filter query on this action. What we can do is open up an apply to each, and from that apply to each, and in this case I use the value of what's coming, what is the output for the rows in the table, and I added our new condition. So let me just remove it and add it again so you can see how I did that. But I'm in the apply to each, and that's because there's more than one item in here, so I have to iterate. If I can't do this filter query, I'm going to have to iterate, all right? Or HTTP, that's another option I have. But I'm going to iterate right now, and I'm going to choose the condition control. And notice we have a brand new condition control. So back in the day, like, I don't know, a month ago, you had to write this convoluted expression that you would put in an advanced expression box on the control condition. And this particular expression wasn't easy for everybody. And so we heard your feedback and we decided to give you something a lot easier, which is our new condition that basically works like regular things. It's more in-user friendly. So I'm going to click here. And since I have these different things from my spreadsheet, I'm just going to do status. Now here I'm going to put completed. Notice that I don't put quotes though, because this is not a query or an expression. It's just a simple user-friendly condition. I don't need any quotes around completed. And then I'm going to add another row, and I'm going to add status is equal to unnecessary, which I hope I can spell. All right. So now I have these two things, but by default, it defaults to and. All right. So in this case, there is no record in my Excel table that has both completed and unnecessary. So if I were to use the and operator, nothing would come back because nothing is both of those things. However, if I use the or operator, now I should get any item that is either completed or unnecessary. Okay, let's give that a quick push. All right, notice we have no errors. Everything went just fine. And in the apply to each, if we open up the condition in the run UI, we can actually jump through these. What I mean by that is we can see that the first one was true, so it must have been completed or unnecessary. The second one was false, which means it wasn't completed or unnecessary, and so on. So you can actually flip through these to see which were true or which were false. And then you can do other things with that new set of data. So just wanted to point that out to you. That was something that I found extremely valuable to understand. So two things: OData queries are proportional to their data source. So not every OData query supports everything. For instance, Excel doesn't support the certain substring operations, right? And so if you get an error that says that's not supported, then you have the option of coming away from that action, not using the OData query, and then using a condition to get you to what you want. Okay, I thought I'd share that with you. There'll be 2 other videos from me this weekend. The ones I've promised you, you'll get those this weekend, but I just wanted to pop this out because I think this is a real time saver to understand. All right, have a great weekend. I'll be talking to you soon.